willing to follow him. That's what makes a king. You have to be a man that is such a man in a field that other men that have been tried and tested as men can respect you for it, to the point of following your lead. That's what makes a king.
Welcome to Ask a Wise Guy, the podcast where we take today's top stories, break them down, and give you the insight you need. Augustus V is here to dive into the headlines, answer the questions that matter, and provide the wisdom you won't find anywhere else. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this episode, and share it with friends who need to hear it. Now, back to the show.
All right. Okay, here we go. So, today I have another one for you guys. This one, you may be hearing this one on YouTube. You may be hearing this in the actual book, but YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube's algorithm. I have no idea what it takes to be searched in the algorithm. So if I haven't stated this already, my intentions for YouTube is to just post for my current subscribers. So for the subscribers that's already here, and for those in the future, or for those that hang on in the and stick around, that's who I'm doing these for. That's what I'm catering the YouTube videos for. That's for my YouTube listeners. Now for my book listeners, everything's unabridged, so that means that you're gonna get the real unscripted me, and that's why I love unabridged so much. It may not be the most professional, right? But it's the most authentic that you could get from an author. See, and I love that. I absolutely love that, as I hope that you guys do also. I get to throw some gems in a unabridged work that I won't necessarily be able to put into a edited series. And let's face it, some of these things that we talk about and that we cover, they just won't make an edited series. If it's unabridged, there may even be some things that that editors or screening departments of certain companies, they may not let it pass in a edited work, but because it's unabridged, they'll say, oh, you know what, we'll let it pass. So that's why so much of my work is unabridged, if not all of it. But that among other reasons also. But get into the topic. This is kind of going to be a bridge from the series that I just finished, which is on Manhood, and we're gonna bridge, where we're gonna transition over to Kingship. And I think this is very good. I think this is very big and very important for all men to hear, really. Because kingship is something that is expected from all men, whether you sign up for it knowingly or unknowingly. Kingship is very important. It's imperative. Every man has to walk into the shoes of a king at some point of his life if he's being a man. See, and I don't want to digress or get too deep into the topic at hand yet, but that's kind of why so many males today are afraid to just be men. See, just not being kings, just to be a man. See, so many males today are afraid to just be men because you could feel the responsibility. You could feel the heaviness of a crown just by being a man. Because the path of the man, see, I'm already going into the topic, but the path of the man leads one into kingship. The path of the man leads one into kingship. So in order to be a king, you have to be a man first. See? Sometimes in order to get the truth, you have to follow the liars. That's why you have ultra liberals like Jada Pinkett Smith that are pushing series or sagas out that synthesizes a woman with the role of a king. See, that's why they have to push this idea of a woman being a king. See, because they're telling you the truth in their lies. See, if being a woman was all it took, if being a woman was so great in terms of being valiant and masculine and strong and all this, then it wouldn't be the woman king. It would be the woman queen, because the queen is the one that's really strong, according to their lie. See? But they know that's not the truth. See? So they have to paint this lie that really pushes the truth. And that's the fact that you have a woman trying to be a king. See? A woman that wants the role of king. So sometimes all you have to do is follow the liars. But let me digress for a second so we could properly get into this topic. Now, Manhood is the series that we just finished. All right. That one will be in in most major electronic bookstores, and it's all in audiobook form. So it's all in audiobook form, all unabridged. But Manhood, we just finished Manhood, and you may not see a YouTube video on Manhood yet. I probably should have done an intro or dropped my intro to Manhood video on YouTube first, but we could just work it backwards on YouTube, and when I drop the Manhood video, we could count that as a grand finale for the Kingship video, because this Kingship, it is important, but let's face it, without the foundation, without the cornerstone of a building, you have no building. So Manhood is more important than Kingship, because there is no kingship without a man first. You know, we could ask Caligula what it's like being king without already walking into manhood. We could ask Nero what it was like being king without being a man first. When that's the case, when you have a king that has never mastered masculinity, mastered manhood, you could have a king that socially is much lower than you, like a Jesus Christ, that doesn't have a physical kingdom, but just has ideas, see, and could tear your whole operation apart just with their ideas, not one sword being drawn and taking your whole kingdom apart. That's what happened with Jesus versus Nero, see. And many believe Nero to be the Antichrist. I'm not going to get into that. But that's a compelling argument that Nero may have been the Antichrist. So when you look at Jesus versus Nero, right? Nero had all the power in the world. This was Rome that he was over. See? But he wasn't a man. He was just a king of some sort. And Jesus, having masculinity mastered to the T, when Jesus said he was going to do something, he did it. See? Jesus only said what he did, and he only did what he said. And as a man, as every man should do, he always directed it back to his father. See? So, the line, the last name, very important when you talk about man, when you talk about manhood. But Jesus had this mastered. Jesus had this mastered. And when he was on the earth, when he was among Roman occupation, his presence was so electric that it affected Rome for centuries after. Centuries. Why? Because the people that kept occupying the kingly throne of Rome haven't passed the man test. They haven't passed the man test. But they were placed on this throne to be king. See? And the consequences cost them their entire race. Their entire race. Not just the kingdom, not just the location, not just the power, the race, extinct. You can't go anywhere in this world and say, I've met a Roman. I was talking to this one Roman man. The entire race is done. See? So this is what this is all about. Yeah, people can be appointed to be king, but that's just the title of king. Kingship is not, or king is not a title alone. People give it a title. People have made a title out of it, and we see how that usually works for them. But to be a king, This is a realm. It's a dimension. It's a mentality. It's a way of living. And one must be tried as a man before they can be elected as king. See? So it's very important to understand this before we just hop into kingship. You have to be a man first. So like I said, once the Manhood intro video drops, that's really the grand finale, guys. That's really the grand finale. That's on YouTube. Now, of course, I haven't even worked on Kingship, the book yet. But once that is ready, I'll let you guys know. But Manhood, I just finished Manhood, and all I had to do was just send it out. So that one's already ready. It's not in stores yet as I'm recording this, but it will be. It will be. And I anticipate many testimonies. I anticipate that I will hear of how this one will bless you guys, because that's what it's all about. That's what we're here for. So let's see. Coming over from Manhood over into Kingship, there's a couple of things that we have to factor in. When we talk about a person, just a personality, man, woman, what have you, we have to look at the fact that there's a couple of components that goes into a person. Now, I won't go too deep into this because I don't want to lose you guys. This is just supposed to be an intro. But we're actually dealing with realms here, dimensions that intermingle with each other. Because we have to remember, this is something that God created, the concept of the person. See, the concept of the person. And the person, the concept of the person can be so electrifying that personality can actually come out of a person. See, you get around a person that is strong in nature, that is full, lively in nature, full of life in nature, and you get a whole lot of personality from that person. See? So the concept of the person, the concept is it's a body, a collection of different components. Emotion is an easy subject. That's an easy element to observe because it's everyone's favorite. Everyone is infatuated with emotion today. So it's not hard to tell that emotion comes with every person. Now, thinking thought, the mind, logic. These things appear to be obvious when it comes to dealing with a person. When it comes to dealing with a person, it appears to be an obvious one. Some may make it a little less obvious due to their ignorant nature. But at the end of the day, we know that if you have a person, in most cases, you're going to have thinking. These things goes into a person. Now, let's ask ourselves, the flower of the field, is that flower a person? Not human being, person. Is that flower a person? It has life in it. We know that people have life in them. And it even has personality. Now, can something have personality without being a person? Is personality the best term to use for a non-person thing? For a non-person being? Is that flower a person? See? Does it have emotion? Can it think for itself? Not to communicate its thoughts. We know that will be a tough one to unbox. No, can it think for itself in order to survive in its field? In its field of work. See? Can a flower gather data and information in its form of a membrane, in its database of logic? Can it receive enough data, whether it's from soil, whether it's from radiation from the sun? Can it extract that data and bring it into its mental database and think, use its version of a mind to the point where it can live out and execute the perfect life for a flower? See, this is what this is all about. This is what this is all about. We have to ask ourselves, what is a person? What is a person? Don't worry, we're going to get over into the man. But we have to deal with this from the gate. We have to deal with this from the gate. We can't start at the top. We can't start at the citadel. We can't start at the palace. No, we have to start at the gate. We have to enter into the palace properly. So the flower, that's a tough one. Is a flower a person? Is a rose a person? Is a tree a person? I don't want to nag. I don't want to be cynical here. Or not too cynical. A little bit of cynicism is a little healthy these days. But I don't want to be too cynical. I don't want to be too doom and gloom in lay terms. But if something doesn't have emotion to it today, people will class it as a non-person being, as a non-person thing. See, I've heard certain Christians say that angels aren't people, that they're not persons, because they're extremely stoic in nature. So we've taken a very intelligent being and we degraded it to the flower, to vegetation, being without personality, being something without a heart, being something that doesn't have the ability to feel, just because we haven't seen any clear demonstrations of emotion out of these beings. See, that's how infatuated we are with emotion today. So if anything doesn't have emotion today, most people will rule it out as a being that isn't a person. It can't feel. It can't have a conscience. It can't have a heart. When you watch National Geographics and a wolf has to put a sick pup down, you can't tell me that wolf didn't feel that. When a lion has to put its foot down, has to be ruthless with its children, you can't tell me that the lion doesn't feel it. See? But the lion is stoic. The wolf is stoic. So you may not see the emotion in that being. And that's so unimaginable, that's so hard to fathom for people today, that they will say, oh, I see why that being was able to do that. It doesn't have a heart. Oh, I see why that being was able to do that. It's not really a person. See? And then a human being will turn around and do the same thing. Out of a sick mind, of course. And people will say, well, that person, they're possessed by a demon. That's why they did it. And it's the demon that doesn't have a heart. That person has a heart that is just clouded by the demon. See? And when you get down to it, everyone's logic is degraded to emotion. It's infatuated with emotion. I'm starting slow for a reason. So vegetation Vegetation has life in it. It has the ability to think. It doesn't need someone to think for them all the time. In many cases, we believe that for many plants, that if a human's not there to help it, then it may not grow at all. But history shows that many places that are without humans are flourishing with vegetation. The jungle, not a human in sight. There's many animals, but not a human in sight. And the plants, the vegetation, amazing. So this shows us, if they could think for themselves, if they could gather the data that they need by themselves, this means that they're persons, they're people. The term people has been used wrong, see? But that's the concept of a person. And that's just basics. The book has more, all right? So you have to get into the book or the book will have more, excuse me. Manhood, we already go into these things because we had to deal with what it means to be a man. So we had to deal with these things at the most basic level, all right? So there may not be any links in this video for the book. You just had to type it up. You just had to give your fingers a little bit of exercise and type it up. Augustus V, Manhood. But we have to deal with these things at a very basic level so that we can understand what it means to be a king. See, these are terms that are being loosely used, and people couldn't care less what they actually mean, because they think that as long as they feel like they know what they're talking about, as long as they feel like they're talking about that thing, then it doesn't matter if they don't know the minute details of the thing. See? And you wonder why there's such a small handful of kings throughout the existence of all eternity. We disqualify ourselves from these titles. And it's easy today. It's very easy to obtain these titles. Very easy. You couldn't always say that it was easy to be a king. But it's easy today. Why? Because business is conducted over a chessboard now. Power is distributed over a chessboard now. Might, valor, manhood, even the manhood. It is obtained by the chessboard now. What do I mean when I say the chessboard? I mean social matters and strategy. That's it. Social strategy. That's it. You don't have to fire a gun to be a man today. You don't have to swing an axe or swing a spear or a sword to be a man today. Our forefathers had to use spears. Our grandfathers had to use guns. Today, keyboard and a mouse, baby. Keyboard and a mouse. And if you can make money with it, oh, You're a god now. It's funny how things are more modern and easier, but yet the titles become more ancient. Most people today couldn't handle an ancient lifestyle. Let one EMP go off throughout one town. The mental health issues will skyrocket. The suicide, not suicidal thoughts, suicide rate will skyrocket. You take the electronics, you take the internet, you take the access to the web, you take the energy, the utilities, you take the running water. Yeah. Most people can't handle a life like that today. That's a modern life. That's a modern life where you can't even handle the ancient life for one day. But yet we want to use ancient titles for ourselves. Kings, gods, prophets. See? So we have to take this back to the most basic stage as possible. We have to get quantum with this and take it down to the molecule form, to the molecular stage, just so that we can analyze and understand what we're looking at. When you're looking at a man, let's start backwards. When you're looking at a man, you're looking at someone that genetically has the capability of being a man. But when you look at a man, you're looking at someone that has been tried, tested, and has passed. You can't tell that by how much this guy can bench press. You can't tell that by how many women are under his arms. You can't tell that by the kind of car he drives. You can't tell that by his marksmanship. You can't tell that by surface level things. Masculinity is an iceberg. It's under the surface. It deals with roots. The things that build up development. See. So, the concept of the person is a being made by God. Man can't create this. Man can't create this. But it's a being made by God that has life in it. And it has the ability to think, to feel, to develop, and to act, to affect things. See? That's the concept of a person. That's what makes a person. And it takes hours to fully break that down, but this is just intro. Now, for a person to become a man, they have to, first of all, they have to be born a male. Okay. I know there's been a lot of money that's been invested. Really, this is all a big investment. But I know there's been a lot of money that's been invested into people's minds to believe otherwise, to believe a lot of ungodly things. I'm not going to call it nonsense. I mean, it is nonsense, but I'm not going to call it nonsense. But they've been made to believe many different things that are different to what God has shown us and revealed to us about ourselves. I know I'm messing up the money. I know I could be messing up the money. But of course there's much bigger people than myself getting this message out. And this isn't my main message, so I can't be messing too much of the money up. But there's been, with all of the trillions of dollars that's been spent and invested on people's minds ever since the 60s, to cause them to believe that any gender could be a man. I know that's messing the money up if I speak against that. But I have to give the truth. I have to tell the truth in order to properly articulate this to you guys. So, one has to be a male in order to be a man. This is a tough argument. Reason why is because whether people realize it or not, in today's society, you have many people that want to be a man. You have many people that want to be a man. And it's not the struggle, it's not the testing, it's not the trying of being a man that they want. It's the rewards that comes with being a man that everyone wants. And that's really what most people's day is made up of, whether they realize it or not, which chances are they don't. But they're trying to figure out how they can get the rewards of being a man without having to be tried and tested for it. Hey, what you doing? Oh, I found this new business that everyone's doing right now. It's hot. Translation, I'm trying to get the rewards of being a man without being tested and tried. Hey, what you doing? Oh, I'm on this new dating app. The girls on there are 10s. Translation, I'm trying to get the rewards of being a man without being tried and tested. That kind of thing. And what you have is societies, not just one society. You have societies of two kinds of people seeking for the same thing. either a male, a person, a person with the penis, born with the penis, or a non-male that has penis envy, wishing they were born with a penis. That's pretty much what it all comes down to, people. Is either someone that was born with a male genitalia and they have no idea of the purpose of it, and then you have those that were born without a male genitalia and they envy those that were born with it, and both parties not knowing what to do with themselves. Now I know many of you listening and say, how have we gone here? How did we get here? How have we fallen so badly? We haven't even elevated high enough to fall this far. How? Well, it's like I told you, trillions of dollars have been invested on people's minds. Look, you make a $10,000 investment, you're gonna want to see your money back. You're gonna want to make sure that it's a guarantee that you're going to get your money's worth for that investment. See, even if you don't get money back, you want to at least see the thing that you paid for to be worth your while. That's just with $10,000. Imagine a trillion. Trillions of dollars spent to deceive you. See? So when you look at it that way, it makes sense why this will be. So we have these two groups of people, those that were born male and those that wish that they were born male. Why? So that they can have a better chance at getting the rewards of being a man. Not so that they can walk the ladder and go down the path of the man. No, so that they can have a better chance of getting the rewards of being a man. It's much easier for a male to get the rewards from being a man without being a man. All he has to do is just lie his way to the top. Find some ways to mooch off of a girl and she'll open herself up. Find some way to lie to her to get her loose, to get her to do the things that she wouldn't necessarily do with everybody, as she tells you. And you get the rewards of being a man. See? Without having to be tried and tested. It's much easier for a man to benefit. For a male to benefit with the benefits of being a man without actually being a man. And that's really the source of all of the lying today from males. See? Whenever you see a male with tattoos on his face, you're looking at someone that has spent the majority of their life trying to figure out how they can get the rewards of being a man without being tried and tested. And the deception is so strong that they're proud of their path. They're proud of the path that they've taken in rebellion to the point where they had to get it tattooed in between their eyes. So to be a man, you had to be born a male. Now for women, it's much tougher for them to get the benefits of being a man. They figured it out, but it's much tougher. Laws had to be passed for women to even do this stuff. If it wasn't for the liberal movement in the 60s, there will be no women driving cars. There will be no women having executive positions, owning businesses. There will be none of that. It started with the liberals in the 60s. When you look at American history and you see all the amazing women that have done all these amazing things that men did predominantly in those times, the trail goes cold right around the 50s and 40s back. You could forget about it. You don't see women doing prominent things in America in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 20s, when all of these characters that Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood built their careers playing, the westerns. When those cowboys were around, you didn't have women doing this stuff. Showing cleavage and wearing skin-tight clothing, wearing tattoos. See, being on Tinder, having a Tinder. There will be no Tinder when there was cowboys around. See, so it was much tougher. This was a generational agenda. But like I said, it's $1 trillion investment. Many call it an experiment. This isn't an experiment anymore, it's an investment. And I must say, I think the puppeteers, I think they're getting each and every cent back. I think they're getting every single dime back for their investment. Every single. And I have to go through these things just so that we can walk along this path. If I didn't break these things down, I will still sound crazy when I said there's only two classes. Two classes that are trying to get the benefits from manhood. And that's those with a penis and those that have penis envy. I would still sound crazy if I didn't break all those things down. This is why I have to break these things down. Because I know when I sound crazy to people. But I own up to it. I'm absolutely alright with that. You know, I know these things sound crazy. Because most people that you listen to are a part of the $1 trillion investment. They're a part of the lie. See? And when we work our jobs, when we run our businesses, the money goes right back into the lie. It's either a part of the investment or it's a return on the investment. And everyone's making money off of it except for us. We get crumbs off of these lies. See? When we join in and we choose to lie, we make a little bit more. But if we choose to tell the truth, we start losing what we've made in the past. See, we start losing what we've built up when we start telling the truth. So all rest assured, yeah, I do have a cape on when I'm doing this, and I'm proud of it. All rest assured, I do sit on a throne when I do these videos. I'm proud of it. Because no one's paying me to do this. People talk about love all the time. What they're really talking about is a feeling. Heroism is love. That's real love. See, it's masculine. It's not romantic, at least in the pseudo-romantic term or sense that people use today. But it's love. It's the love that Paul the Apostle was talking about, saying that love conquers all. That was a masculine love that Paul the Apostle was talking about. How do you know that was a masculine love? Because it's masculine to conquer. Only a man can conquer. See, it's not you take the romance out of love, and it's something very serious now. It's something very treacherous. You don't anger a man concerning his children that loves his children. You don't anger a man that loves his children. You pay for his dinner. That's what you do. Because love is a very, very serious word. So, basics. You have to be born a male in order to be a man. Second, and let me just say this just to make it clear, all right? You have to be a male to become a man. You can't have penis envy and become a man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but you know, it's that's good. That's good vernacular. That's good cadence. But you can't just have penis envy and be a man. You can't wish that you were a man and be a man. You can't. You have to be born a man. Now, from there, if you're born a male, you have to be tried and tested with all of the responsibilities that comes with being a man. That's why a father, when he has a young boy, we see this in the movies all the time. The father would do something that he believes, according to his strategy. There's no book on this, okay? The closest that you could get to a book on this is the Bible. But times have changed since the Bible, so as men, we have to strategize this when we raise up our young lads, our young boys. But we've seen it in the movies all day, where the father would do something to rough up the son, and the son would be crying and boo-hooing, and the father would say, "Stop crying. Wipe your eyes. Are you a man? Don't you want to be a man? You're a man, aren't you? I'm raising you to be a man. Stop crying." And pick up that hammer. See? Stop crying. Pick up those bricks. Get that mortar. See? Stop crying. Turn that lawnmower on. See? Be a man. The father knows that child is not a man. He knows that he's not a man. But he's testing the boy so that one day he may become a man. And the only way that you can become a man is if you're tried like one, is if you're tested like one. That's the only way that you can become a man. You can't be tested like a boy that gets remorse or gets his mama's pat on the back or a warm embrace when he's going through something. You can't be tested and then have the liberty to run to your mother's embrace for comfort. That doesn't make one a man. It allows him to strive as a little boy, because those are the privileges of a boy. But it's the father's job to pry him away from the mother and say, hey, be a man. You're a man, aren't you? Be a man. So, and with this, what happens is the boy gets used to this testing. He gets used to this trying. He gets used to it. In ancient times, ancient Sparta is a very good example of this, but it wouldn't be allowed today. It wouldn't be allowed today because it will mess up the $1 trillion investment. It will mess the money up. But they'll send that boy off into the woods, start naked, and would leave him with stealing and spying, espionage, spying to get another meal. And if he dies, he dies. And if he dies, it's considered a favor to that society because a weak one has been excommunicated. He was just going to weaken their society anyway in their eyes. See? And if he survives, he gets to come back as a man. See? And what would happen is the boy, he'll be scared, he'll be afraid, but he was trained for it. See? And as he's out there, he realizes, you know what? The woods isn't that bad. It's pretty peaceful out here. It's not that bad. You know, I may run into a wild animal soon, but you know, aside from all these thorns and all these plants, and you know, it's not too bad out here. I get a break. I get to be to myself. I get to get caught up on all my thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts going on. Never even realized this. The boy starts to become a man. See? Now, once he goes into society, he says, you know what, I do need a meal. It'll be nice to get some clothes too. And he goes into society, he finds his way into society, and he gets around some people. He says, you know what, I kind of miss the woods. I think I may go back out there, see if I can find a cave to live in. That'd be nice. That's ancient Sparta. They're not doing that with, we're not doing that with our sons today. But we could get creative. We could get creative. But the concept, the whole idea behind it all is the fact that the Spartans mastered masculinity. They understood it to the T. To the T. See? And I like Zack Snyder's rendition on the Spartans. I mean, the more I watch it, the more I respect their screenwriting on that series. And the comics are even better, according to my opinion. But you could tell that they mastered masculinity just with small jokes that they put in the movie. Because the movie, they understood the history behind what we've been told about the Spartans. You know, we were told that the Spartans were, the soldiers were all homosexuals, and they were pansexuals, really. They would sleep with anything walking, right? But history shows that they all had one wife, and the wife was pretty much very liberal, a lot like our women today. But history shows that it was the women that had more than one partners. And once she would marry, then, you know, of course she'll stay loyal to that one man that she would be married to. But even in the movie, they noted that Leonidas, he called the Athenians boy lovers, which means that the Spartans couldn't be boy lovers if that was a joke that he made about the Athenians, see? And what were they indicating in the movie by throwing that in there? That the Spartans were straight men. And what does that tell you about the Spartans if that's the actual history behind it? They mastered masculinity. Why? Because a man couldn't do something so beastly, so grotesque as to sleep with the same sex. Those kind of actions don't stem from masculinity. Those kind of actions don't stem from manhood, from a man. See, sure, there's males out there doing it, but there's a difference between a male and a man. Now, topic at hand, kingship, the king. A person has to be a male before they can be a man. And a man is required for kingship. A person has to be a man in order to be a king. There's no such thing as a woman king. Because when you look at what we just covered about being a man and what it takes to be a man, you're not having a woman fill this role. I'm sorry. A king comes after a man. And in the way that men are tested, you don't even want to put women in these positions. And see what they'll say today. This is a part of the investment. But what they'll say today is, let's take a group of women and let's put them in the same scenarios as the men. Let's find a group of beta males and put these women in a situation. Let's find these alpha women to be in the same situation as these beta males, and let's cater everything to the women so that the women can go through this situation that the men have went in to and beat the men. See, and what people will say is because the woman was able to go through what the man went through, then that means that she can be a man. Because the woman was able to go through what the man went through, that means that she's a man. See, this is what has been taught. This is what is being indoctrinated. This is why they had to make the women the heroes in Avengers Endgame. That's why in Immortals they effeminized the entire franchise. See, and Marvel right now is pulling rabbits out of hats, pulling magic tricks off, trying to perform miracles to bring the franchise back. See, because the franchise is in the grave counting sheep right now, sleeping good. Why? Because they've been pushing this agenda. They've been using some of the trillions of dollars to get people to believe that because women can go through what men have been through and succeed, then that means that they deserve, going back to the previous point, they deserve the benefits of being a man, even though they're not men. And if they could go through what a man can go through, then they deserve to be reckoned as men. They deserve to be respected as men. They deserve to be men. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time pointing out how this could go wrong and why this goes wrong. It usually turns out horribly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But the main point, the main conclusion that I want to make to that issue is the fact that it's not from God. We could close it on that. That should be enough for people, but unfortunately it's not enough for people because people don't even understand how to see God today. So that really doesn't say much. That's not saying much today, unfortunately. I wish that would just drive the point home for most people today, but it doesn't. By saying that it's not from God. So let's philosophize it for a second. People listen to philosophy and psychology. So the reason why that doesn't work out, women trying to be men, is because they weren't built for it. Shoulders are made for carrying things. Hips are made for comfort. You have to understand this. You have to understand this. Shoulders are made for carrying things. Hips are made for comfort. This doesn't work out for women because women suffer from something called burnout. burnout. When you take a man and you find out what it is that he's good at, and you unleash him into that field, it's like taking a fish that's out of water and dropping it in to a fishbowl. Its genius starts to emerge. I gotta shout out Dr. Mike Murdoch for that one. If you know who he is, you know. But his genius starts to emerge when you drop him in that water. That's a man when you find out what he's good at and you unleash him in that field. And he works in that field until he passes out. You have to pry him off of his work. That's not even what he was born for, people. We're not even talking about someone doing something that they were born for. We're not talking about a man doing something that he was born for. We're talking a man doing something that he's just good at, and he realizes that he's good at it. He'll do it until he passes out. And once he wakes up, he says, man, I can't believe I passed out. Because it was just getting good. That's a man for you. Whereas a woman, she may find what she's good at, and she'll do all the schooling that's required to do that thing. And she'll do it for a good year or so. Honestly, she'll do it for a good month. This is actually how it is. But I'll be nice. I'll say a good year. She'll do it for a good year. And will start changing her routine around the house, and will start digressing to more of a party life on the weekend, being a little more loose, having a little more fun. Why? Because she's trying to get rid of the burnout. Now, this is something she went to school for. Something that she claims that God told her to do. And there's burnout. See? I'll leave it at that. There's many more other reasons for why it's just not beneficial for women to try to be men. So that kills the woman king argument right there. That kills the woman king argument. There is no woman king possibility. The man was built, the male was built to be a man. The woman wasn't even built for it. So yes, she may be able to accomplish some things that a male can, that a man can, but she wasn't built for it, which means that this is going to tear her apart over the years. Whereas a man can do this all the way up into his senior years. And you have to pry him off of the work that he's been doing since he was a kid, because his eyes are finally going on him, or finally going out on him. See, things of that nature. So when you talk about a king, You're talking about a man that has been tried and tested before other men, in front of other men that have witnessed this and have came out victorious, that has built a name on the victories, that is known for skill, for purpose in this field, to the point that other men are willing to follow him. That's what makes a king. You have to be a man that is such a man in a field that other men that have been tried and tested as men can respect you for it, to the point of following your lead. That's what makes a king. That's why I started this out by saying many people have been given the title of king, but they haven't even been tested as men, so they don't deserve it. See? And I'll be honest with you. Unless you have a casting system like the Spartans or similar, it's not always easy to find the right type of man. Not even the right type of man. This is common verbiage, but it's not always easy to find a man to fill in a king slot, to fill in the king role. It's not always easy. So yeah, it is easier just putting boys up there, males that haven't been tried and tested as men, and hoping that maybe if they follow a legislation, maybe if they follow a certain set of guidelines, then they'll do all right. It's not always easy finding a man that's been tried and tested, that other men will be willing to follow the lead of. But see, it's a beautiful thing when you go through this system, when you go through this process, because when you do, you can walk around other men and openly say, you don't have to say it, but you can go around other men and openly say, I'm the king around here, and they won't refute it. They'll say, that's right. So what are we gonna do? Yeah. Well, you have to wait for the book. I'm sorry. That's all. Oh man. You have to wait for the book. This is just the intro. But I'm telling you, when you've been tried, when you've been tested, when you choose the path of the man to kingship, you can talk however you want. You can talk your talk in lay terms. You can be braggadocious. You can brag. You can be flamboyant. No one calls Ric Flair arrogant. Why? His resume has been stamped by many tough men. Ric Flair could walk in a room with other veterans in his field that have been doing it as long as him. And he can say to them, I'm a king. In some cases, he could even say to them, I'm the king. And the only thing they could do, the most they could do, the most, is to challenge his crown. That's it. That's it. Why? Because his resume has been stamped by other men that were willing to follow him. That's all it means to be a king. That's all it means. It's very simple. It's very simple. But today, you can't simply state it. You can't simply state it. You have to break it down for people. You have to chew it up, and then you have to feed it. You have to regurgitate it. You have to chew it up so that it's easy to digest. The way a mother does with their child. See? This is what it's about. This is what it's about. You take the path of man to the king. You take the path of man to king. There is no king without a man being present. It's just a fill-in slot. It's just like in the Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. The mother wasn't really trying to fill in the slot of king. She was just on the throne filling in for the time being until someone else could come along that can claim the throne as king. And as you could tell throughout the entire movie, that was a house of cards just tumbled. The whole house just tumbled. You know, it was a fiasco. They couldn't really get anything right. See, and that's under liberal standards. See, because if there's no man there, there's no king there. It's just something else. You have to follow the path of man to be king. And I guess I could close it with this. But many men sign up to be a king unknowingly. Because when you're a father, you're a king. Love you guys. Look out for that book. Stay wise.